Hello everyone, it's Uriel again. Sorry that I haven't posted a video for 2 weeks. I've just been really unwell and I've lost my voice for a majority of it. So I hope this one makes up for it. This is my Pokemon Sword and Shield Galar Region team. It's one that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I actually wanted to do my Sun and Moon team, so if you are interested in me doing that, please leave a comment down below to say if you want me to do my Sun and Moon team. My initial sketch, it took ages, so I did video it, but I decided to edit it out because it was just taking absolutely ages. It was just really difficult to try and manage to fit all 6 Pokemon in with a decent size on a piece of regular, I think this is A4 marker paper. It was just so difficult. I couldn't fit the entire body on with enough detail that, or the amount of detail that I actually wanted to put on it. I haven't drawn the Pokemon in any particular order. I just put them in where I could fit them in. I cheated a little bit as well because I am tracing it from my original sketch. I think the proper way of using marker paper is to draw and sketch on the wrong side of the paper and then to use the paper, because it's a really thin paper, to render it properly on the right side of the paper. But it's just becoming a bit of a habit now that I'm tracing through from my original sketch onto the marker paper. It means that there's no markings on the back of the paper. If I decide that I want to erase it, I can, without worried that, because the marker paper is so thin that when you try to erase on the wrong side of it, it crinkles up so much and it drives me mad. So I remember that happening on my very first video. It drove me absolutely mad. I had 2 heavy books laying on top of the paper to try and straighten it out before I could colour it, because I decided that I was going to erase it before I started colouring it, while it was just the line work. For the line work, I'm using the Chameleon multiliner in grey. This is becoming a go-to technique now. I only tend to line in grey and then later I'll go over the lines. It depends on what the picture is, actually. I've just posted a drawing your own style where the line work was entirely either grey or the colour, the coloured liners. So I'm really loving it. This Pokemon is one of the new Pokemon for Sword and Shield. It's Inteleon. My Inteleon was called Cedric, or is called Cedric. I've still got him on the game. He was my starter Pokemon. He's the only male Pokemon in my team. That was totally unintentional. But I quite like the idea of having just the one guy who's stuck with a load of women in his team, and it's just quite funny, you know, that he's like, oh no, I'm here on my own, sort of thing. I always choose the water starter. It's just my thing. Ever since I very first started playing Pokemon, it was always like Squirtle or Totodile or Mudkip. So it's always been my thing, the water Pokemon, the water starters. I know a lot of people hate on Inteleon. I think a lot of it is the fact that it's just really skinny, and they just don't like it. They think it's just ugly or whatever. But I really, really liked Inteleon. I knew it instantly as soon as I saw the artwork for it. It was like, yeah, this is the one. For my moves on him, I've got Breaking Swipe, which is a dragon move. That was just for coverage because I thought dragon covers for a lot of things. Snipe Shot, which is its signature move. It's like a water gun sort of move. U-turn, which is just handy, and so is Sucker Punch. Now this one, Galarian Rapidash. This is why I got Pokemon Shield. It's an exclusive to Pokemon Shield. I absolutely love Rapidash, even in the Cantonian fire type form. I love Rapidash. It's a unicorn. People that know me know that unicorns are my thing. I caught it in the Glimwood Tangle, and that's the only place that you can catch it. I did have a Clefairy that I caught in a raid battle as a Clefairy, and as soon as I knew that as soon as I was going to catch my Ponyta that I was going to have to retire Starlight, the Clefairy. My Rapidash's name is Purity. I thought it was like a My Little Pony name, but I can't really find one that's not a vintage My Little Pony. But she's got Smart Strike, Psychic, Wild Charge, and Dazzling Gleam. The next one is my Noivern, whose name is Tattoo. I have no idea why. Don't ask why her nickname is Tattoo, I just don't know. I caught her in Galar Mine number 2 as a Noibat who was running like hell to try and get away from me. Funny. She has Steel Wing, Hurricane, Dragon Pulse, and Boom Burst. This is a Pokemon that I have never used as far as playing Pokemon, but that was like the idea for the whole team, was that I chose Pokemon that I'd never ever used. And I also had a thing in my head that at least half of them had to be brand new Pokemon, or at least like a Galar version. So I managed to do that. I had Noivern Tattoo. She was one of my only two previously released Pokemon that I used. But like I said, it's one of my things is when I start a new Pokemon game, I try and use Pokemon that I've never used before, and I try to make sure that at least half of my team is a new Pokemon or a new version of that Pokemon. This Pokemon is one that I completely overlooked at first. I cheated. I went on like Bulbapedia and Cerebi and just to check to see what my options were. This was the last Pokemon to join my team. It's Phalanx, which looks like a big caterpillar, a big yellow caterpillar. Turns out it's 5 little warriors. So I named it the Amazons. It is genderless, but I decided that I wanted to keep going with, like, Cedric was my only male Pokemon and the rest were all going to be females. And I just wanted to name it the Amazons, you know, female warriors. It was almost not going to be on my team because I looked to see where my weaknesses were and I didn't have any coverage that would be covered by a fighting or dark type. So my initial thing was that I was going to get a Pangoro, which is the big panda Pokemon. It's dark and fighting, which would cover both of these sort of issues that I had. But I decided that Pangoro was an older Pokemon, and my team already had 2 older Pokemon, and so I thought, you know what, this is an opportunity to use another one, or use a new one. So I decided that I was just going to have the weakness for Ghost, I think it was. That's why I needed the Dark type. And so I just decided that Phalanx was going to be the one. And after using it, I've just realised how brilliant it is. At first, I was struggling like hell to try and make it something. So it wasn't until it had First Impression and Close Combat that it actually became one of like my best ones. That was in the front of my party. And I've just grown to love Phalanx. Absolutely love it. It has Close Combat, First Impression, Reversal, and Mega Horn. This Pokemon is Sandaconda, which is another new Pokemon. I called it Nyoka, which is actually my friend's name. It means snake, and I just thought that it was so appropriate. So Nyoka it is. Although I don't think she was fantastically happy when I showed her. I don't think it's the most beautiful Pokemon, but it's one of the most useful ones. I caught it on Route 6 as a Silicobra. It has Brutal Swing, Rock Blast, Glare, and Dig. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I didn't expect to either. I'm using a lot of types as well that I don't normally use. Although having said that, in my Sun and Moon I had a Mudspray and a Mudsdale. So I am coming around to starting to use the ground type. I quite like it. So yeah, Nyoka, my Sandaconda, during the game it was one of the most useful. I just wanted to say as well that this team of 6 is actually the only Pokemon I used all the way through, apart from my Clefairy, which I swapped as soon as I got my Rapidash. And I usually try and do that sort of challenge, is to try and keep the 6 and try and catch the ones that are the ones that I want to use all the way through the game, and the ones that will be the most useful. I've started to do that now. I used to just catch as many as I possibly could, you know. That's the whole thing about Pokemon, right? Gotta catch them all. This one is Aegislash, which is an older Pokemon. And I called her Brenda. Brenda actually means sword or blade. And I think it's French. But don't quote me on that. I should have researched before I did the voiceover, so I do apologise. But yeah, feel free to comment and correct me in the tell section, or whatever they call it nowadays. I caught Brenda in a raid battle, and it was my very first trip into the wild area. I caught her in the raid battle at Watchtower Ruins as a Honedge, and it was just like one of these things where it was just like, oh my god, I've got to catch it. At this point, she was my second Pokemon that I ever got. The first one was my Inteleon Cedric. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna catch it, and I'm just gonna build my team around those 2. So Brenda's got Night Slash, Iron Head, Sacred Sword, and Shadow Sneak. And I do appreciate that there's probably so much more appropriate move pools for each of my Pokemon, but I didn't sort of go into it thinking, right, I need this, and this because it's going to be the most effective move set or whatever. I just went in and just thought, right, what's handy, what's going to get me through this game, and what did I have at my disposal at the time. So yeah, I mean, feel free to sort of give me some pointers as to like move pools and stuff. I mean, I know that there's ways of working it out and stuff, and sitting and taking time and writing notes and stuff, but I'm not really into it. It is all about just playing the game to play the game and have fun while doing it. I've done these little banners just so that I can put their names in. And I just went onto Google and found some royalty-free images of like scrolls and put them in, because I tried to do a different shape for each one. So it is intentional that it's just really random, because I just thought, you know, the whole team's quite random, really, you know, if you look at it. I'm just going over with a brush pen just to pick up the lines, because once I'd coloured it, it just looked so bland. So just to make the Pokemon all pop, I just went over with a black brush pen. I'm not sure of the brand, but I remember getting this from a seller on Amazon who'd sent me, I'd ordered 3 or 4 different pens, and this one came instead of another one. So they were really good about it, and they sent me the right pen and told me that I could keep this one. It's not one that I use very regularly, but it was just on the top of the pile, and I thought, you know what, it's got a thickish nib, so it's like, you know what, let's just try it and see how it goes. And I quite liked the result of it. Those Phalanx, they were a nightmare to draw. They seem like such simple Pokemon, because they're little round things with tiny little legs and a bit of a horn. But because there's 5 of them, and you've got to make sure that they're all sort of together, because if one like runs off, then you don't have like a full Pokemon, really. It's like, if you know, like Execute, if you could take one of those little eggs away, would it still be an Execute? I don't know. You lot tell me. So, and the Aegislash shield, that was one that I was absolutely horrified about. I just remember thinking, oh my god, how the hell am I going to draw that? It looks so complex. But then when I was actually breaking it down in the sketch, I just realised that it actually isn't that complicated. It's just a shield that's divided into 3, and it's quite simple, really. The reference picture I used for the Rapidash, it was like one while the Pokemon trainer was camping, and it just looked really happy, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to use that. And it was the same with the Phalanx reference picture as well. That one, they just all looked so happy. It was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I think the other 3 are just their standard artwork from like Bulbapedia or whoever it is that's drawn it. I'm not sure. Just gonna sign it and put everybody's names in. So there was Nyoka, the Amazons, Cedric, Tattoo, and Purity, and then Brenda. So here's just a little view, a bit of a closer view of it. I'm sorry I didn't get them all in, all their faces, but you get the idea. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment and subscribe. And please go check out my Instagram at uriel.illustrations. Thank you for watching. Bye.